Love and hate relationships. Unless until you access the conscious frequency of presence, all relationships, and particularly intimate relationships, are deeply flawed and ultimately dysfunctional. This may seem perfect for a while, such as when you're in love, but invariably that apparent perfection gets disrupted as arguments, conflicts, dissatisfaction, and emotional or even physical violence occur with increasing frequency. It seems that most love relationships become love or hate relationships before long. Love can then turn into savage attack, feeling of hostility, or a complete withdrawal of affection at the flick of a switch. This is considered normal. The relationship then oscillates for a while, a few months or a few years, between polarities of love and hate, and it gives you as much pleasure as it gives you pain. It is not uncommon for couples to become addicted to those cycles. Their trauma makes them feel alive. When a balance between the positivity or negative polarities is lost, and the negative, destructive cycles occur with increasing frequency and intensity, which tends to happen sooner or later, then it will not be long before the relationship finally collapses. It may appear that if you could only eliminate the negative or destructive cycles, then all would be well, and the relationship would flower beautifully. But alias, this is not possible. The polarities are mutually interdependent. You cannot have one without the other. The positive already contains within itself. There is yet a manifested negative. Both are in fact different aspects of same dysfunction. I am speaking here of what is commonly called romantic relationships, not of true love, which is no opposite because it arises from beyond the mind. Love as a continuous state is, as yet very rare as conscious human beings. Brief and elusive glimpses of love, however, are possible whenever there isn't a gap in the stream of mind. The negative side of a relationship is, of course, more easily recognizable as dysfunctional than the positive one, and it is also easier to recognize the source of negativity in your partner than to see it in yourself. It can manifest in many forms: possessiveness, jealousy, control, withdrawal, and unspoken resentment, the need to write, insensitivity or self-absorption, emotional demands and manipulation, the urge to argue, criticize, judge, blame or attack, anger, anxious revenge for past being inflicted by parent, rage and physical violence. On the positive side, you are in love with your partner. This is at first a deep satisfied state. You feel intensely alive. Your existence has suddenly become meaningful because someone needs you, wants you, and it makes you feel special, and you do the same for him or her. When you're together, you feel whole. The feeling can become so intense that the rest of the world fades into significance. However, you may also have noticed that there is neediness and a clinging quality to that intensity. You become addicted to other person, he or she acts on you like a drug. You're on a high when the drug is available, but even the possibility or the thought that he or she might no longer be there for you can lead to jealousy, possessiveness attempts at manipulation and through emotional blackmail, blaming and accusing, fear of loss. If the other person does leave you, this can give rise to the most intense hostility or the most profound grief and despair. In an instance, loving tenderness can turn into savage attack or a dreadful grief. Whereas the love now can change into its opposite in an instant. Was it the love in the first place, or just an addictive grasping and clinging? Why should we become addicted to another person? The reason why the romantic love relationship is such intense and universally sought after experiences that it seems to offer liberation from a deep-seated state of fear, need, lack, and incompleteness, and that is part of the human condition and is unredeemed and unenlightened state. There is a physical as well as a psychological dimension to this state. On the physical level, you are obviously not whole, nor will you ever be. You are either a man or a woman, which is to say, one half of the whole. On this level, the longing for wholeness. The return to oneness manifests as male and female attraction, man's need for a woman, women's need for men. That is to say, to get your sense of who you are from things that ultimately have nothing to do with who you are. Your social role, possessions, external experience, successes and failures, belief systems, and so on. This false, mind-made self, the ego, feels vulnerable, insecure, and is always seeking new things to identify with and give it a cure, give it a feeling that it exists. But nothing is ever enough to give it lasting and fulfillment, as fear remains, as a sense of lack and needless meanings. The person you're in love with, you're no longer a disconnected from an inner caring universe, or so it seems. Your world now has a center, the loved one. If in your relationships and experiencing both love and the opposite of love, attack, emotional violence, and so on, then it is likely that you're confusing ego attachment and the need to clinging with the love. You cannot love your partner one moment and attack him or her the next. True love has no opposite. If your love has an opposite, then it is not love, but a strong ego need and for a more complete and a deeper sense of self, the need that the other person temporarily meets. It is the ego's substitute for salvation, and for a short time it almost does feel like a salvation. But there comes a point when your partner behaves in ways that fail to meet your needs, or rather those of your ego. There are feelings of fear, pain, and lack that are intrinsic part of egoic consciousness, but are to be covered up by the love relationship now resurface. Just as with every other addiction, you are on a high when the drug is available, but invariably there comes in a time when the drug no longer works for you. When those painful feelings reappear, you feel them even more strongly than before. And what is more, you now perceive your partner as cause of those things. This means that you project them outward and attack the other with all the savage violence that is a part of your pain. This attack may awaken the partner's own pain, and he or she may counter your attack. At this point, the ego is still unconsciously hoping that its attack or its attempts at manipulating will be sufficient punishment to induce the partner to change their behavior so they can use them again as a cover for your pain. Every addiction arises from an unconscious refusal to face and move through your own pain. Every addiction starts with pain and ends with pain. Whatever the substance you're addicted to, alcohol, food, legal or illegal drugs or person, you're using something or somebody to cover up your pain. That is why after initial euphoria has passed, there is such unhappiness, so much pain in intimate relationships. They do not cause pain and unhappiness. They bring out the pain and the unhappiness that is within you. Every addiction does that. Every addiction reaches a point where it does not work for you anymore, and then you feel the pain more intensely than ever. This is one reason why most people are always trying to escape from the present moment and are seeking some kind of salvation in the future. The first thing that they might encounter, if they focus their attention on the now, is their own pain. And this is why they fear. If they only knew how easy it is and accesses in the now, the power of presence then dissolves the past and its pain, the reality that dissolves the illusion. If they only knew how close they are to their own reality, how close to God. Avoidance of relationships in an attempt to avoid the pain is not the answer either. The pain is there anyway. To fail the relationships as many years is more likely to force you into awakening than 3 years on a distant island or shut away in your room. But if you could bring intense presence into your absences, aloneness, that would have worked for you too. Can you change the addictive relationship into a true one? Yes, being present and intensifying your presence by taking your attention even more deeply into the now, whether you are living alone or with your partner. This remains the key. For love to flourish, the light of your presence needs to be strong enough so that you no longer get taken over by the thinker or the pain body and the mistake than for who you are. To know yourself as being underneath the thinker, the stillness underneath the mental noise, the love and joy underneath the pain is freedom, salvation, alignment. 2. Disidentify from the pain bodies to bring presence into the pain and thus transmute it. To disidentify from thinking is to be the silent watcher of your thoughts and behavior, especially repetitive patterns of your mind and the roles played by the ego. If you stop investing it with softness, the mind loses its compulsive quality, which basically is the compulsion to judge, and so to resist what is, which creates a conflict, drama, and a new pain. In fact, the moment that judgment stops through acceptance of what is, you are free of the mind. You have made room for love, for joy, for peace. First you stop judging yourself, then you stop judging your partner. The greatest catalyst for change in a relationship is complete acceptance of your partner as he or she is, without needing to judge or change them in any way. That immediately takes you beyond the ego. All mind games and all addictive cleaning are then over. There are no victims and no perpetrators anymore, no accuser and accused. This is also the end of all codependency, of being drawn into somebody else's unconscious pattern and thereby enabling it to continue. You will then either separate in love or more deeply into the now together, into being. Can it be that simple? Yes, it is that simple. Love is a state of being. Your love is not outside. It is deep within you. You can never lose it, and it cannot leave you. It is not dependent on some other body, some external form. In the stillness of your presence, you can feel your own formless and timeless reality as the unmanifested light that animates in your physical form. You can then feel the same life deep within every other human and every other creature. You look beyond the veil of form and separation. This is the realization of oneness. This is love. Love is not selective. Just as the light of the sun is not selective. It does not make one person special. It is not exclusive. Exclusivity is not the love of God, but the love of ego. However, the intensity with which true love is felt can vary. There may be one person who reflects your love back to you more clearly and more intensely than others, and if that person feels the same towards you, it can be said that you are in a love relationship with him or her. The bond that connects you with that person is the same bond that connects you with the person sitting next to you on a bus, or with a bird, a tree, a flower. Only the degree of intensity with which it is felt differs. Even in an otherwise addictive relationship, there may be moments when something more real shines through, something beyond your mutual addictive needs. True communication is in a communion. The realization of oneness, which is love, usually this is quickly lost again, unless you are able to stay present enough to keep out the mind and its old patterns. As soon as the mind and the mind identification return, you are no longer yourself, but in a mental image of yourself, and you start playing games and roles again, get your ego needs met. You are a human mind again, pretending to be the human being, interacting with another mind, playing drama called love. Although brief eclipse is impossible, love cannot flourish unless you are permanently free of mind identification and your presence is intense enough to have dissolved in a pain body, or you can at least remain present as the watcher. The pain body cannot then take you over and so become destructive of love. However, every crisis represents not only danger, but also an opportunity. If relationships and energize and magnify egoic mind parents and activate the pain body, as they do at this time, why not accept this as a fact, rather than try to escape from it? Why not cooperate with it, instead of avoiding relationships and continue to pursue the phantom of ideal partner as an answer to your problems or means of feeling fulfilled? The opportunity that isn't concealed within every crisis does not manifest until all the facts of any given situation are acknowledged and fully accepted. As long as you deny them, as long as you try to escape from them, or wish that things were different, the window of opportunity does not open up, and you remain trapped inside a situation which will remain the same and deteriorate further. When you know you are not at peace, you knowing creates a still space and surrounds you in non-space and loving, and a tender embrace, and then transmutes your non-peace into peace. As far as inner transformation is concerned, there is nothing you can do about it. You cannot transform yourself, and you certainly cannot transform your partner or anybody else. All you can do is create a space for transformation to happen, for grace and love to enter. So whenever your relationship is not working, whenever it brings out the madness in you and in your partner, be glad. What was unconscious is being brought out to the light. It is an opportunity for salvation. Every moment, hold the knowing of the moment, particularly of your inner state. If there is anger, know that there is anger. If there is jealousy, defensiveness, the urge to argue, the need to be right, an inner child demanding love and attention, or emotional pain of any kind. Whatever it is, know the reality of the moment and hold the knowing. Humanity is under great position to evolve because it is our only chance of survival as a rare. This will affect every aspect of your life and the close relationships in particular. Never before have a relationship been problematic and conflict right as they are now. As you may have noticed, they are not here to make you happy or fulfilled. If you continue to pursue the goal of salvation through a relationship, you will be delusioned again and again. But if you accept that a relationship is here to make you conscious instead of happy, then the relationship will offer your salvation, and you will be aligning yourself with a higher consciousness that wants to be born into this world. For those who hold on to their old patterns, that will be increasing pain, violence, confusion, and madness. How many people does it take to make your life into spiritual practice? Never mind if your partner will not cooperate. Sanity, consciousness can only come into this world and through you. You do not need to wait for the world to become sane or for somebody else to become conscious before you can be enlightened. You may wait forever. Do not accuse each other for being unconscious. The moment you start to argue, you have identified with mental position and are now depending not only on the position, but also your sense of self. The ego is in change. You have become unconscious. At times, it may be appropriate to point out certain aspects of your partner's behavior. If you're very alert, very present, you can do so without ego involvement, without blaming, accusing, or making the other wrong. When your partner behaves unconsciously, replenish all judgment. Judgment is either to confuse someone's unconscious behavior with who they are, or to project your own unconsciousness onto another person and mistake them for who they are. To replenish judgment does not mean that you do not recognize the dysfunction and unconsciousness when you see it. It means being the knowing rather than being the reaction and the judge. You would then either be totally free of a reaction, or you may react and still be the knowing. The space in which the reaction is watched and allowed to be. Instead of fighting the darkness, you bring in the light. Instead of reacting to delusion, you see the delusion, yet at the same time look through it. Being the knowing creates a clear space of loving presence that allows you all things and all people to be as they are. No greater catalyst than for transformation exists. If you practice this, your partner cannot stay with you and remain unconscious. If you both agree that the relationship will be your spiritual practice. Both agree that your relationship will be your spiritual practice. So much the better. You can then express your thoughts and feelings to each other as soon as they occur, or as soon as a reaction comes up, so that you do not create a time gap in which an unexpressed and unacknowledged emotion or grievance can foster and grow. Learn to give expression to what you feel without blaming. Learn to listen to your partner in an open, non-defensive way. Give your partner space for expressing himself or herself. Be present, accusing, defending, attacking, all those patterns that are designed To strengthen or protect the ego or to get its needs met will then become redundant. Giving space to others and to yourself is vital. Love cannot flourish without it. When you have removed the two factors that destructive of relationships, when the pain body has been transmuted, and you're no longer identified with mind and mental possessions, and if your partner has done the same, you will experience inner bliss of a flowering of relationship. Instead of admitting to each other your pain and your unconsciousness, instead of satisfying your mutual addictive ego needs, you will reflect back to each other the love that you feel deep within, the love that comes with the realization of your oneness with all that is. This is the love that has no opposite. Remember that the ego needs problems, conflicts, and enemies to strengthen the sense of separationness on which its identity depends. The unenlightened partner's mind will be deeply frustrated because its fixed positions are not resisted, which means they will become shaky and weak, and there is even the danger that they may collapse altogether, resulting in loss of self. The pain body is demanding feedback and not getting it. The need for argument, trauma, and conflict is not being met. But beware, some people who are unresponsive, withdrawn, insensitive, or cut off from their feeling may think and try to convince others that they are enlightened, or at least that there is nothing wrong with them and everything wrong with their partner. Men tend to do that more than women. They may see their female partners as irrational or emotional. But if you can feel your emotions, you are not far from the radiant inner body just underneath. If you're mainly in your head, the distance is much greater, and you need to bring unconsciousness into the emotional body before you can reach the inner body. If they are ready, they will walk through the door that you opened for them and join you in the state. If they are not, you will separate like oil and water. The light is too painful for someone who wants to remain in darkness. The pain body usually has collective as well as personal aspect. The personal aspect is the accumulated residue of emotional pain suffered in one's own past. Often a woman is taken over by the pain body at the time. It has an extremely powerful energetic charge that can easily pull you into unconscious identification with it. You are then actively possessed by an energy field that occupies an inner space and presents it to be you. But of course, it's not you at all. It speaks through you, acts through you, thinks through you. It will create negative situation in your life so that it can feed on the energy. It wants more pain in whatever form. I have described this in the process already. It can be vicious and destructive. It is a pure pain, past pain, and it's not you. So do not use a pain body to give you an identity. Use it for the enlightenment instead. Transmute it into consciousness. One of the best times for this is during menses. I believe that in the years to come, many women will enter a fully conscious state during that time. Usually it is time for unconsciousness for many women, as they are taken over by the collective female pain body. Once you have reached a certain level of consciousness, however, you can reverse this. So instead of becoming unconscious, you become more conscious. I have described the basic process already, but let me take you through it again. This time with a special reference to the collective female pain body. When you know that mattress flow is approaching, before you feel the first signs that is commonly called premenstrual tension, the awakening of the collective female pain body become very alert and inhabit your body as fully as possible. When the first sign appears, you need to alert enough to catch it before it takes you over. For example, the first sign. Maybe the sign is strong irritation or flash of anger, or it may be purely physical symptom. Whatever it is, catch it before it can take over your thinking or behavior. This simply means putting the spotlight of your attention on it. If it is an emotion, feel the strong energy charge behind it. Know that it is in a pain body. At the same time, be the annoying. That is to say, be aware of your conscious presence and feel its power. Any emotion that you take your presence into will quickly subside and become transmuted. If it is a purely physical symptom, the attention that you give in it will prevent you from turning into an emotion or a thought that continue to be alert and wait for the next sign of the pain body. When it appears, catch it again in the same way as before. Later, when the pain body has fully awakened from its dormant state, you may experience a considerable turbulence in your inner space for a while, perhaps for several days. Whatever form this takes and stay present, give it your complete attention. Watch the turbulence inside you. Now it is there. Hold the knowing and be the knowing. Remember, do not let the pain body use your mind and take over your thinking. Watch it. Feel its energy directly inside your body. As you know, full attention means full acceptance. Enlightened or not, you're either a man or a woman. So on the level of your form identity, you're not complete. You're one half of the whole. This incompleteness is felt as male-female attraction, the full tour, the opposite energy polarity, no matter how conscious you are. In fact, you can relate to it deeply only if you're conscious of being. In being male and female at one, your form may continue to have certain needs, but being has none. It is already complete and a whole. If those needs are met, that is beautiful. But whether or not they're met makes no difference to your deep inner state. So it is perfectly possible for an enlightened person. If the need for the male or female quality is not met, to feel a sense of lack or incompleteness on the outer level of his or her being. Yet at the same time be totally complete, fulfilled, and at peace with them. It is not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with any another person. If you cannot be at ease with yourself when you are alone, you will seek a relationship cover up your unease. You can be sure that the unease will then reappear in some other form within the relationship, and you will probably hold your partner responsible for it. All you really need to do is accept this moment fully. You are then at ease in the here and now and at ease with yourself. Okay.